Breaking news. Please stand by for another C2C World News Now current event. Hello, today is Sunday, and this is the 18th day of September 2016.
Breaking news. U.S. strike on Syrian Army, borders between negligence and assisting ISIS, according to reports from the Russian Foreign Ministry. The United States lead coalition airstrikes on the Syrian Army positions near the eastern city of Deir ez-Zor. Borders between gross negligence and direct assistance to ISIS militants, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement.
Is that at around 5 o'clock local time Saturday evening, the US-led coalition planes carried out 4 airstrikes in the Deir ez-Zor region of eastern Syria. As you say, 62 Syrian soldiers were killed and around 100 more were injured. The Syrian army was holding a position that was surrounded by Islamic State, who they were fighting. But the strikes subsequently gave Islamic State a chance to advance into the territory. Now, the Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that the Islamic State offensive began right after the Syrian army position had been compromised and hit from the air. And this was echoed by the Syrian Army General Command that said that after the strikes, to quote, the way was paved for Islamic State militants to advance. As a result, Russia, along with other allies, was forced to send forces to fight the jihadists in that territory. And that's why the Russian Foreign Minister spokesperson Maria Zakharova suggested the White House is defending Islamic State. Now,
the coalition pilots' actions, if they, as we hope, were not ordered by Washington, were on the edge between gross negligence and direct assistance to Islamic State, ISIS. The ministry's statement said.
Of course, everybody was anticipating Samantha Power, the U.S. ambassador to the UNSC, and her Russian counterpart, Vitaly Churkin, to take podiums. And Samantha Power was the first one to, I would say, vent her anger publicly, to vent her outrage in front of the media. And when I say outrage, I'm not exaggerating, because she was furious about having to convene, about being summoned on Russia's call to...
The airstrikes against the Syrian army's positions were conducted by 2 F-16 fighter jets and 2 A-10 ground attack aircraft, the Russian Defense Ministry said earlier on Saturday. Syrian SANA news agency reported that an Islamic State offensive started shortly after Syrian army positions were attacked from the air. Russia is gravely concerned by the fact that the airstrikes took place amid multiple documented cases of the nationwide ceasefire being violated by the Syrian rebels.
To discuss the airstrike, and this is something that she didn't really address in her speech properly. She kind of sidelined the whole airstrike thing. Let's actually have a listen as to what she had to say.
Russia decided to join the Assad regime, escalating the conflict, and perhaps worst of all, itself adopting some of the regime's worst practices, hitting hospitals, hitting refugee camps. And they're calling this emergency meeting? Really? Now, because of a single airstrike, a strike that if it struck regime forces, did so in error.
I've said before that we believe Russia has the wrong strategy. Despite what the Russians say, we have not agreed to cooperate with Russia.
As you know, we are not coordinating on a military-to-military basis with the Russians. That has not changed.
A strike that we have swiftly acknowledged and committed to investigating.
Podium right after his American counterpart, and as he revealed that Samantha Power did not hold back on her hard feelings behind closed doors as well. In fact, by her approach, she managed to surprise even Vitaly Churkin. Let's have a listen to how he describes what happened behind closed doors.
As I was talking in the Security Council, sharing our analysis and frustration over the situation of Syria, Ambassador Power chose to talk to you. The only thing her deputy had to say in response to my comments was that the U.S. is investigating what has happened at Deir ez-Zor. As Ambassador Power walked in, first thing she said, she was not interested in what I had to say, because what I was saying is a stunt.
The only way how we're going to combat terrorism is if the United States current administration, along with Europe and everybody else, takes this seriously and works with Russia, along with the Syrian current government, to get rid of these people. This is ridiculous what's going on, and I feel it's not just an intelligence issue. This is an act of America wanting to be, it's an ego trip. That's what I think it is.
Again, we call on Washington to put pressure on the U.S.-controlled militants to ensure that they respect the ceasefire conditions. Otherwise, the entire set of Russia-United States arrangements, made in Geneva on September 9th, might be endangered, which is contrary to the interests of the international community.
This has been a C2C World News Now current event. Stay safe, everyone.